What happens when a 28-year-old college dropout turns questions into profit opportunities? You get a predictions market mobile app worth $9 billion and over 1 million global users. You get one of the oldest financial firms investing in that app, and you become partners with some of the hottest companies in sports. But with all this attraction comes unwanted eyes and scrutiny that ends up slowing your market share down. Well, this sounds exactly like Polymarket. From elections to geopolitical events, its prediction accuracy has alarmed federal agencies for investigation. And ultimately, what they want to crack is how exactly are these predictions able to win big. With the objective to bring this truth machines to every state in America, the constant investigation over certain events is bombarding that from happening. I mean, in the time this video was recorded, this is the third federal investigation they have in a year, and we're in Q2. So if the government keeps bringing out the magnifying glass on Polymarket, what does it all mean? I guess my question is, who and what does Polymarket affect if they're at scale in the United States? To start off, we should ask, what exactly is Polymarket? Okay, so we know it makes predictions, and we know it makes predictions on events, or I would just say hot topics. But really, in essence, what is it? I think Polymarket is a real-time truth detector of events. One person's exit in a prediction is the market's gain as that prediction becomes more accurate. But the real genius in Polymarket lies in the stakes for the traders. Unlike sportsbooks where the house determines the odds and commission, which increases biases for profitability, on Polymarket, it completely depends on the trader's belief. So if new info hits, or smart money buys and sells fast, the price of the prediction reflects the weight of the crowd's belief. And with these trades backed by real-time money, it pushes away casual guesses and brings prices towards truth. Some proof in action could be in the 2024 election when Polymarket whales showed Trump winning at 60% odds weeks before polls caught up. It's kind of how stock trends are driven by institutions. So the market crowns cash as king and experts with big pockets come in and filter out the noise. So $1 million bet by a big player or a whale outweighs $100 10K bets from common traders, which drives volume, giving prices a high reliability percentage. And once again, having the truth monitor towards people's convictions and not the narrative that bureaucracy wants to offer. So if Polymarket is mainly about democracy, how come it often runs in with the law? Well, there's something called the CFTC, and what the SEC is for stocks, that's what they are for commodities and future contracts. And up until 2022, Polymarket was offering binary options without their approval, causing them to get a $1.4 million fine from the CFTC, saying that the app didn't have a DCM or SEF registration, which are both needed for companies that offer binary options. Because of the fine, operating in the US was no longer viable for the app that still wanted to be considered a DeFi, or decentralized finance. So they concentrated on their global reach, extending in Europe and other parts of the world. Now, I don't know if Polymarket didn't know, or they did know and intentionally still wanted to expand out into Europe, but the European Union passed a law that banned binary options because they classified them as gambling derivatives. Regulators saw a high risk as retail losses kept increasing. But I guess this didn't stop Polymarket from operating in these countries. Many users bypass through VPN, which is an extremely gray area, and regulators amongst these countries were kind of passive around Polymarket. And they stood passive until...
It is now official. CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
The election year saw over $3 billion bets pre-election coming from the platform, many speculating that there could be elements of wash trading. In France, an anonymous trader won over $80 million in profit across 11 plus accounts. The trader wanted to keep his identity hidden and claimed that he had no intention in steering the outcome of the election and purely just wanted to do it because he was confident in his analysis. And over the past 2 years, there's been countless regulations going on across Europe. Gaming commissions in several countries issued blocks, while others denied access to users on the platform by redirecting them. And ultimately, Polymarket came back to the US after its stint away when it acquired QCX back in 2025, an exchange that will allow them to be fully regulated and operate under the CFTC. Upon arrival, a few things they did was launch a beta app so that they won't crowd the platform with users they can't manage. The real clever thing they did, though, was have good strides with other companies that would keep user engagement. Focusing on sports, it partnered with owners of the UFC and boxing group Zaffa, as well as the NHL, who's partnered with their main competitor Kalshi, not to mention a partnership with one of the top betting apps, PrizePicks. Now I have a few thoughts on why Polymarket might be pushing so aggressively to get back into the US. But I'll lead with my main point. Their use of maximizing the prediction formula is to prevent replication. To be honest, I'll be doing what Shane and company is doing too. After I've been away from the biggest market in the world and seeing my competitor eat my lunch, while I have to put more effort into just getting one global user. I would move just like he's moving. To offset them from its competitors, specifically Kalshi, they launched a sports beta version. But the cherry on top was when they got backed by ICE for $2 billion, propping up the company to $8 billion. And what is ICE, if you may ask? This is a company that runs global exchanges, clearinghouses, and data services around the world. So when they cut a stake in Polymarket, it gave the company headway for their sport betting endeavor. And unlike Kalshi, their ultra-low fees gives them liquidity they need and for the traders without them worrying about biases from houses that want to keep profit. But Kalshi and Polymarket don't take any cuts after trader transfer winnings. But that 0.1% taker's fee, a near nothing fee for the traders, makes all the difference and gives Polymarket that moat they need in order for them to stand out. Now, you'd think that put Polymarket back into good graces with America, but that's not the case here. Many states still feel that this exchange called prediction market still falls under the same class as casinos, sportsbooks, and lotteries, and not gambling derivatives. States are not just targeting Polymarket, they're lumping Kalshi in there too. Right now, Kalshi is facing 20 lawsuits, with the most recent one being on account of illegal gambling, even having one of the biggest gaming states temporarily banning it. Now, out of the two, just in terms of scrutiny, I'd have to say that Polymarket edges Kalshi on this one. Recent events like the war and geopolitical decisions has put the company under immense pressure. Just in April, one of the largest geopolitical wagers in history was made on the app regarding the recent war with Iran. Volume reached over 170 million on the app just on that one prediction alone. This was around the same time 4 accounts were flagged where traders made a total of over 600K. Right now, it's hard for Congressional to just up and charge Polymarket for fraud without showing that there was non-public information traders were trading on. Besides speculation on insider trading, an April study showed that 84% of 2.5 million traders lost money, while less than 1% of that made over 100K. This data can make someone assume that the app's philosophy of making it about the wisdom of people is actually just a way of prioritizing profit for whales. But even with these accusations, all of their so-called charges this year has been state level. And to me, I think that's where the problem lies in scaling with the company. But it still really doesn't answer my question. Are they for the people? I mean, earlier this year, they decided to open up a grocery pop-up store. A 5-day pop-up where New Yorkers could come in and grab anything they want for free. The intention was to make Polymarket be brand friendly and make people riled up about prediction markets. I mean, of course, who's gonna turn down free food, but at the same time, are the motives really sincere? Recent interviews from the founder show that he's with anyone that's pro-innovation, whether that's bringing in people with government influence or partnering with people that keep fan engagement. Knowing there's an innovator's dilemma at the moment, Polymarket is trying to do something that was obvious to us all, but just never got brought to light. So, to sum it off, government backs prediction markets, but states don't because they can't charge it as a gaming fee. Just like Europe, even though there's a law, there really isn't a law, is there? Instead of them battling it out in court, they should formulate some laws for prediction markets. Again, we won't know how long that would take. And also, we won't know until we see how Polymarket impacts society. And currently, I'm number 1,213,157th person on the wait list for Polymarket. Now, I could put a promo code and just sign up if I wanted to, but I could care less for trades. What Polymarket is facing is what a lot of the tech companies are facing with the arrival of AI. The Fed doesn't necessarily know how to control its influence, and just like AI, they know the tech it's useful. But what is the overall cost for that? Midterms are this year, and another roar can happen on Polymarket, causing a chaotic situation. So I guess I'll end with another question. Even if the law allows Polymarket to operate within states, is this just another way for big players to come in and sway the market? Or is it truly for people to find truth around current events? So that's my take on the whole Polymarket situation going on that's happening in the US. Like I mentioned, I don't trade or do anything like that on Polymarket or any of these betting apps, but it is some new tech. It's just interesting to see the fact that there's a disruptor coming in and they just don't know how to tame it or handle it. And I'd love to see how that play out. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts on what you think about Polymarket.